We are live. Good morning. Coming to you today from the third floor, of course. Up on the third floor. There's our garbage guy without his official garbage truck today. We get a chance to see all his garbage. So usually when we're up on the third floor, I put the camera facing the other way because it shows the intersection, lots more action, but the sun is shining right on the camera today. So no can do. So we've got the donkey view instead. Another beautiful day here in Asakusa. Actually, you can't quite see it too. Our tree at the bottom of the screen there, that's our tree. It's a Hanamizuki. It's just starting to flower. It'll be flowering next week. And then up at the end of the street, there's, you can barely see it, at the very end at the left, there's a Botan Zakura. What's it called? A peony cherry? Botan Zakura. What do you call it in English? I don't know. Botan Zakura. And it's just starting to flower. And next week, it will be spectacular. You can't see it here. Up at the end is the Don Quixote store. On the left there, just next to the garbage truck, you see a white vertical sign. It says Asakusa Little Theater. And they claim that they're the smallest theater in the world. A claim, I think, made by a bunch of other theaters around. But that's the place where they do the owarai, the comedians. So we'll see. During the course of the stream, the sun is going to come down that street. And maybe we'll pop the camera back up a bit more later on. But today, as you can guess, we are up here printing, if I remember how. When is the last time we did this? I don't remember. My hands don't remember. Someone's saying any comedians or duos that are your favorite. I don't see any of that stuff. They're all on TV these days. I don't go in that theater. And anyway, this theater actually isn't the real pros. This is kids who are trying to break into the scene. So these are the raw beginners. They're not getting paid for what they do. They spend most of their time outside on the street touting the theater and waiting for their big break, hoping that somebody in the audience will be a talent scout or something. It's all TV these days for those guys. It used to be all theaters, now it's all TV. So we are going to be doing some printing. I've got paper, I've got 60 sheets prepared here. What we're using today is not Ichibe-san's beautiful Hosho washi. We're using washi, but it's from Awagami. And the reason we're using Awagami paper today is because we're going to inkjet this after I'm finished. I'm going to print the woodblock part, and after that, for the rest of the share certificate, we're going to be using inkjet printing. So if you need the code for this, if you think you'd like to try this paper, there's the code number. And it's on Awagami's website. We can talk about it later. They have an English website, no problem. I have 60 odd sheets of paper in here. It's not really going to take me all that long because it's only one color. One color. Someone's saying, well, I print the test sheets. I'm not quite sure what you mean. The thinness of the paper, I don't know the numbers. They're talking about, what's their number? 70 grams per square meter. So I don't really know those numbers. We don't use them in our own work. I have no idea what the actual weight is of the paper we normally use. So I can't really give you a reference. I'm sorry. We'll see. When we're looking at the paper, we'll pick some up and have a look at it. Okay, we can't see the pink pigment now. Let's see. What I've got here, I've got on the tray next to me here. We're not going to be able to get all of this in sight. There's a bowl of normal black pigment. I'm putting it onto a tile and I'm dipping with my brush dipping onto the tile. We're not going to put the pigment directly on the surface of the wood today. We have fine lines here, and if I take the pigment and swipe it across straight for each impression, it's much more likely to clog up the fine lines. In front of me, the paper is here. We're not going to be able to see everything, and the paper is going to come out and go over here. Someone's saying, is all paper used for printing treated the same way, or do different methods apply? Well, basically the same thing. Normally in our work we use the same kind of washi. We moisten it before starting, we print it, then we dry it. There's nothing really magical about it. The paper today, as I said, it's not the same washi we use. It's a special inkjet paper, but I've done the same thing. I moistened it last night with a brush. I have my moistening brush, and I moistened it every second sheet last night, just the same way we do our normal paper. So this pack here today, it's in plastic to keep it moist, and it's just damp, it's not wet. How damp is damp in words? The best example I can use, I thought of this years and years ago. You take a shirt, it's in the laundry, you take the shirt out of the washing machine, you put it in the spinner, you know, your laundry. It spins, bzzz, then you take it out. So a shirt like this, after coming out of that spinner, ready for hanging up, that's about the same dampness as this paper. Is that a good way to describe it in words? Ne, Ishikawa-san. Well, I should introduce you. Behind me today, Ishikawa-san, Ishikawa Yoko-san. She's working today. We're going to see her back. Good morning. You're live. We're live. 紙の示し。英語で説明すると、まあ日本語でも説明すると、今の英語で説明したんですから、洗濯物、洗って、なんていうの、すすぎ。シャツがすすぎの、なんていうの、すすぎから取って、干す前に、その示し具合は悪くないかな？ It matches you? She's on board with this. When you take your clothing, like a shirt, out of the spinner before you hang it up. I think that's about right. So, for what we do. Other people, whatever. Your mileage may vary. Someone says here, Kizuki Hosho is such and such according to your own paper. Kizuki Hosho is a style of paper making. It's a type of paper. You can get thin, medium, thick, extra thick. There's no specified weight. Kizuki Hosho means Hosho paper made with 100% mulberry created in the Nagashizuki style. That's what Kizuki Hosho means. Okay, I'm getting this warmed up bit by bit. And what we'll do before I start my regular paper, I've just got some sheets of scrap paper here. Here is the image we're going to print today. You saw me carving it. Why do I have to warm it up? Because it's dry wood. It's a dry piece of wood. If I put wet pigment, try and print, the wood balance hasn't anywhere got stable yet. So water is soaking into the wood at the moment. Soaking in a bit. Do another one. Soak some water in. Just get it stable. Same as the paper. I moistened it last night. If I brushed water on it right now, it wouldn't be ready for hours. I'm at Sugi-san's old bench. Yes, this is Sugi-san's bench. Yes, exactly, Vivid-san. You're talking about the Nagashi style. They dip and rock and form it, dip and rock it. The other one is called Tameshi Suki. You dip it, sit it, and the water drains out. Vivid KP, have you got permission for the video? Could we maybe show it today, or you haven't received an actual permission for this? Someone is asking, questions. Am I going to test the paper I brought with me from the papermaking village? It is being tested as I speak. I don't have any at the bench today. I gave some chopped pieces to a Kawai-san, one of our printers in Chiba Prefecture, and I gave another couple of pieces to Kubota-san, and he put it in with his current batch of work. The paper is being tested. Karen says no permission. Well, I would just do it, but it's not my it's not my call. I know that workshop already has lots of stuff on YouTube, and other people who have done the workshop there have put their things on YouTube. So I think it's okay. Butどうですか？大丈夫かな、石川さん。この北斎の絵ですね。そう。
ああ、いいね。
オリジナル北斎です。Now, the first one you see me print here is going to be strange. You're going to say, what is going on? Before I explain to it, you tell me, why am I doing what I am about to do? Yes, of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. What do you think? I think it needs to go a little bit left and a little bit up. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. It's much easier to move this than it is to move the inkjet part later on. So for people who don't know what this is the copy here is a reject copy from a couple of years ago. This is our compensation for patron supporters at the top level. Share in the fun certificate. Everybody gets numbered. They get signed by me. What did I do? I put it in here. I think it should go a fraction left. But I don't have a knife with me. So do I go all the way downstairs to get my registration knife? I should have brought it up with me. Maybe. She's got one. Ishikawa-san?
はい。
ちょっとケントのみありますか？
はいはいはい。
使っていいですか？
いいよ。
You never borrow knives from anybody else.
はい。
Thank you. You never borrow edge tools from anybody for a couple of reasons. You don't want to scratch them or ding them. It's also embarrassing because the answer will always come up the same. Oh, it's not sharpened as well as it should be. So I see it now and I'm being, it's sharpened way more sharp than mine. Ishikawa-san, 僕のより綺麗ね。
あ、そう？
そう。
マジ？
綺麗、綺麗、綺麗。
浅香先生にしたら怒られるよそれ。
いやでも僕より綺麗よ。
そうですか。
だから僕のものがもうあちこちいろいろ使いますから、小包も開けますとか。
ちょっとそれまずいよ。
I know. No, hers is beautiful, beautiful, much more than mine. So there's no embarrassment for her here. So. If only I could see. Tell you what, hers is very different from mine. Look at this. Hers is super long. Have you seen mine? Mine's about that long. And if you just saw mine like that, it looks normal. But this is what they're like when you buy them. So what this is telling me is that this is the Kentonomi for a beginner printer. It hasn't been used, hasn't been sharpened. 石川さんでしょ？すごい長いでしょ？僕のものはこれぐらいです。だからもう僕のものも40年だんだん溶けてこれぐらいですよ。そう。考えられない。長い。使いにくい。Wow, it's a lifetime tool. Literally a lifetime tool. If you got one of these, if you started working when you were 20 or something like this, sharpen. Mine, like I said, mine's about somewhere around there. You can, if you remind me the next stream, we can take a look at it. And I've got enough length in mine to last me. So. This part of the job now for me is getting more and more difficult. I really am struggling to see what's going on here. The glasses that I've got are built for reading, you know, reading a newspaper or looking at the screen. I don't need glasses for walking around the room. But this particular thing, close up like this, my glasses don't work. I can't see it. Honestly, I can't see it. She's laughing at me. Okay, there we go. Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi. Hi.
Go get some work glasses. No, if I were printing, I would need to get one more pair of glasses. Absolutely. If I were a printer. 5 fishes got it, so come to this professional Twitch stream called Japanese Printmaking. See somebody working at somebody else's bench with somebody else's tools. Why am I laughing? Fairness, it's been okay, I am happy with this. I think it's going to be in the location we need. Let's roll. Fiddler on the roof. Gee, why would you say that? paste. So, I don't think we need paste here today. When you're doing line work, there's a trade-off here. If we were doing a flat area, absolutely we would need paste because the printing would be mottled. With line work, we can get away without it to a degree. And the reason I'm avoiding paste here is because some of these lines in his hair and stuff, it's really, really quite thin. And paste will really tend to clog up in there, which I don't want. There is our print. Now you see a problem here. Have you got this? It's the awagami paper. What they do is they do something really, really smart and cool, this awagami people. You buy a pack like this. Hang on a sec, let me keep this moist. I want to keep this moist for next time. Awagami sends you the pack. You buy a pack of 20 sheets. Now when they're making this stuff, this is really, it's handmade paper. And when they're making this stuff, some of the paper will have dots or something, or too much chili or whatever. The ones that have too much chili, they don't throw them away. Every pack of 20 has something, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 extra sheets inside. Free, it says on the label there, where I forget the label, it says, includes free sheets for test printing. And what they've done is they've taken the paper that's totally okay, except it has a black mark or something. They give it to you as a freebie, put it in. So you can use that as your first test. Very, very, very thoughtful, very excellent idea. They're a good outfit, you know, very high-class outfit. Very, very nice. Unfortunately, they don't have a paper that fits our use, our particular use case. They don't pretend to. But a lot of their papers are really suitable for many people, and we're buying it for the Inkjet. Very high-class outfit. And this is all we're going to see today now. Repeated, repeated, repeated. My challenge now is to get them all looking reasonably consistent, not too black, no tamari. We can't, of course, print the inkjet part on this first. The paper here is moistened for our woodblock part. We're going to dry it out carefully, flat, and then they will go into the Epson printer for inkjet. We can't do that first, of course, because you can't moisten an inkjet print. It bleeds. So the woodblock goes on first. And then the inkjet later. There were supposed to be 3 of us working up here this morning. Myself, Ishikawa-san, and Ayumi-san booked in today to come over there. She's printing, she's working on another batch of the, can we announce it? 3, 2, 1, announcement. Ayumi-san is making another batch of the Nikko prints, the ones that Taran-san carved. But not today. She has what we know in Japanese. She said, Gikkurigoshi. I forget the English term. What's the English for the Gikkurigoshi? I can't remember. It's when you reach out for something and you pick it and your back goes and you collapse on the floor and you're down for 3 days. I forget what it's called in English. It happened to me, a few years ago. She's laughing because it happened to her, obviously, some time back. Today it's Ayumi-san's turn. And she has 2 little kids at home. What's it called in English? Threw your back out. Is that it? There's no single term. Okay. Threw my back out. Yeah. So I took her paper out of the fridge this morning, the freezer, before I went to the pool, and we've now put the paper back in. So those of you waiting for the Nikko print will have to wait 1 or 2 days longer. Now this print is only going to have 1 color. This paper is moistened, and I could just right now throw it up onto here and let it dry. But if it does, it will dry with ripples, and that'll give us big trouble for the inkjet printing. So what I'm doing, I'm just putting it the same way as if we were going to be printing another color. It stays moist in a pack. Then when I'm finished later today, I will take them out carefully and I will dry them under our drying boards so that they do go flat, flat, flat. The sniffing and sniffles you hear in the room today are not from me, unusually. I'm clear. Is it pollen? Kafun? Kafun, soka. I'm sorry, we don't care, relax. Not... Has she run away because I mentioned it? I don't think so. I hope so. Hope not. Oh, I see. No. She wants to blow her nose, and she's a lady. Unlike me, who blows his nose with a microphone on my chest. She goes to the next room to do it. So. See, it's funny in Japan, even me just casually asking about that tells her, oh, he's asking about it. It means he's annoyed. It's interfering with the stream. So she has to stop sniffing, To me, Dave was just thinking, are you okay? Is it kafun? Is it a cold? She could have said, yeah, it's pollen, and kept going. But I gave her a message. It's interesting, Ha, ha, ha. Tea time. That's what you're doing. I thought you ran away. Tea time. She made her tea. Today, 台湾からのものですか？どのような茶？お茶？紅茶？日本の緑茶です。緑茶。はい。ティーバッグ？葉っぱから？ティーバッグ。 We've joked before, this is the tea lady, you know. Ishikawa-san is it's kind of a hobby for her, lots of different kinds of tea. She's been to China many times, and each time she does, she comes back and she brings different kinds of tea for us, things like this. It's her hobby. I'm downstairs one day, a couple of months ago, I'm just doing something in the shop, and Ishikawa-san comes in with a little tray, and she's made for me some chai tea, for a bunch of us, right? She made it and gave everybody a cup of this chai tea. So. It's a good hobby, thank you.
本当だね。本当だね。
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about that. Tea with salt. Yeah, exactly. 塩が入っているかどうか. Don't start that one again. John, the hours are actually 10 to 5:30. Don't advertise 6. 6 is when the last staff leaves. But the shop hours actually are 10 to 5:30, the advertised hours. They do close the shutter when they can at 5:30. Ishikawa-san, questions for you about tea. Have you tried matcha brewed in oat milk over ice? Matcha with oat milk.
Oat milk.
Oat milk.
Oat milk.
It's a thing overseas. And then pour it over ice before drinking.
悪くないね。
I don't know. She says, warukunai. Sounds okay.
うん。
Oats milk. Is that here in Japan? Do we have that?
うんうんうん。あ、じゃあ流行ってるよ。
Also,
うん。
oats milk.
そうそう。体にいいって言ってね。うんうん。
I think I'm going to try some paste. Where can I steal some paste? Just a second. Nori arimasu ka? Aru kana? Nori. I'll try some.
いい？あった。
Yes, okay. I'm going to try a dab of paste here because the impression we're getting, it's okay, nobody would complain, but the impression we're getting on the thicker parts, the lines of his kimono here, they're not as smooth as they could be. There's a bit of, I don't know, what's it called, clouding. They're not nice and smooth. So I'm going to try a bit of paste. But if I get the opposite problem, if I get tamari, blotting between the lines, then we'll lay off. The camera today, someone's asking, it's on the balcony, just outside where I am. I'm on the 3rd floor, and I can see the camera there. It's on the balcony. This is not a permanent change. It's because I'm working up here on the 3rd floor. The cable doesn't reach. Yeah, it's a nicer impression. It's a nicer impression. No big deal. Maybe you can't even notice it. I don't know. But it is a nicer impression. So we'll go with a bit of taste on this. The pigment we're using is the Sumi ink that's used for calligraphy. It comes in black bottles. We pour it into a cup and use it. We occasionally use a really thicker Sumi, a kind of paste, but never for a job like this, for a key block. The brand we're using is the best one in Japan. It's called Kaimei Bokuju. Kaimei Bokuju. The paste adds a bit of density to it. Gives it a smoother black, but the danger is it'll really blot between the lines. How's our time? 8:36. Not sure. I've got 60 sheets in here. We have a double show and tell prepared. I was thinking I might also be able to show a video, but Karen says that's not possible, so it's okay. We'll save that for later. We have two objects for show and tell. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very nice. If the paste blots between the lines, would we dilute it with water? That would make it worse. It's when there's too much free water and too much free liquid on here, that's when it really blots between the lines. Oh, 石川さん、これですね。今使ってないよ。
いい？ほい。
どっちか。あれはマラタバラン？Not sure how to explain about the paste. It's adding a bit of body, I think. You know, we don't want anything to be too runny. If you imagine this was a wider color block, if there was liquid water and if stuff was runny, you can't print. It would just be a splotchy mess. But in the case of a wide color, by putting paste in, it turns it into a smooth cream. And it's like printing with cream instead of water. The cream spreads out easily, you press it, it comes into the paper. That might be the best way to think about that. The same thing's happening here. The thicker areas, the lines of his kimono where the black widened out a bit, that's like a color block. And we want cream there instead of water. But the paste, being sticky and adding a bit more goopiness to it, sometimes tends to jam between the lines. Do I have a car? My God, I've never owned a car. You're asking the wrong guy here. I have driven. I had a company car back when I was in my 20s. When I worked for the music company, I drove a company car and the company trucks. But I've never owned a car. Here in Japan, I mean Tokyo, my God. This sheet behaved very, very different. It feels like a different kind of paper. I wonder if I put it in upside down by mistake. This awagami paper has a definite front and a back. And they warn you about this on the paper. They put it inside the pack and they say, please print on this side. They're talking inkjet printing, not woodblock printing. And this one feels like maybe I got this sheet backwards in the stack. I don't know. Oh, I forgot. I need your help. You can do some research. Type, 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 type. This morning in my news feed, before I went to the pool, chup, 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 chup. Japanese Prime Minister is over in America right now. He and his wife have gone there. They had a state dinner or something last night, blah, 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 blah. There was an exchange of gifts. The Japanese side, this was totally predictable. They gave President Biden some gifts made with lacquerware from Wajima, the area where the earthquake just was. This is a cool idea. Help support the earthquake area, blah, blah, blah. Gifts, gifts. Check, check, check. They also gave, I guess, Biden's grandson or something. I read it too fast. They gave him a bag of Nintendo swag. If you Google this, you'll find it. It's all over the news this morning here in Japan. So the Japanese Prime Minister took lacquerware from the earthquake area, a lacquerware pen and something, and they took some Nintendo swag. In response, President Biden gave the Prime Minister and his wife some gifts. And I saw that it was two gifts. One was a Billy Joel rock and roll poster. I'm just repeating what it said. And then it said the second item was, and I quote exactly, woodblock print. No more details. Get hunting. What did President Biden give the Japanese Prime Minister last night? A woodblock print. Did he score one of my waves? It must be out there. There must be news. Get going, get going. I was so frustrated. The news report said, woodblock print. But cool, raised the profile. But what? I can only presume it's an American designer. He wouldn't have bought a Japanese woodblock print, would he? Did you hear that news, Ishikawa-san? 昨日岸田総理でしょ、今アメリカにいる間に、昨日のbanquet, what do you call it, the formal banquet, 夕飯じゃない、何て言いますか banquet, I don't know the Japanese word. Anyway, もうみんなボタイとか食べ物とか、お土産交換になったんです。総理岸田総理が輪締めで作った能登半島で作った漆のギフト、それから若者のために袋に任天堂のグッズいろいろ入ったんです。任天堂のプラッシュとかトイとか。じゃあ反対の方がアメリカから岸田さんたちに ビリー・ジョー、有名な、シンガーのポスター、多分岸田さんがある日、I like Billy Joel と言いましたかもしれないんですが、その上に木版が1枚が書いてあった。A woodblock print。そう。
本当？
そう、昨日のニュースに、バイデンさんから、岸田総理に木版画をお土産に出したんです。
それ、
そう。細かく今もうみんな探してますから。
何
I don't know. It just
映らなかった。
said a Billy Joel poster, signed Billy Joel poster, and a woodblock print. That's all the report said. Whatever they're looking at. We'll get some more news in a few minutes here. Billy Joel lithograph and 2 signed LPs. It wasn't a poster. A framed painting of the. じゃあMokuhankanじゃないかな。さっきのニュースがlithograph. Lithograph. 何？lithograph, offset. 何日本語で。
私もわかんないけどわかる。リトグラフね。
Whatever, the news report said a woodblock print. In fact, I kept it in my news feed. Hang on a sec. I'm not making this up. One sec. Where is it? Excuse me, excuse the interruption in the work here. I'm sorry. Here we are. Here's the Google. No. Where is it? I put the news editor into my address. Google alert, woodblock print. Here we are. Let me get the link. I'll post it in. I copied it. It said, okay, for his part, Biden gave Kishida a black walnut tripod table handcrafted at a Japanese Americans workshop in Pennsylvania, Biden's home state, as well as an album signed by U.S. singer Billy Joel, and a woodblock print. Boom. That's the story. I'll put it in here for other people to see. The thing is, though, this takes me back when I was making the poet series. We go back now 30 years or something. I was partly through making the poet series, which is Japanese traditional tanka poetry. And Dave, who didn't have enough customers at the time, this is pre-internet, nothing. I had a great idea. I knew that the Japanese government, every time some ambassador visits or whatever, they give gifts all the time. The foreign ministry here must have a whole department devoted to sourcing and preparing gifts so that the ambassadors and prime ministers can present them and give them all over the place. It's a big deal in any country in the foreign ministry. So I made a presentation to the Japanese foreign ministry. I prepared a package with a couple of prints and a letter in Japanese and blah, 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 blah. And I said, wouldn't this be a cool idea to give handmade woodblock prints, blah, 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 made by me to some dignitaries? We sent it off. This is 25, 30 years ago. The reply, crickets. And over time, thinking about it, it sort of makes sense. Why would the Japanese government, the print itself might be a useful thing. Japanese government is going to get the Canadian ambassador. Here's a little gift for you, a woodblock print of traditional Japanese poetry made by a Canadian. Yeah, like, right, the Japanese foreign ministry is going to do that. So that was the end of that little thought. Okay, back to work. So did we find it? There was just simply confusion, right? The reporter was wrong. It wasn't a woodblock print. Is that the consensus? I'll go back to Canada, start from zero, make Canadian prints, and then see if I can sell some to the government. Yeah, right, like that's the business plan. Someone says we're on the second floor. We're not on the second floor unless you're British. We're on the third floor here. As in ground floor meaning one, second floor are the offices, and the third floor is the printer's room. So we're on the third level here, which I guess might be called the second floor by some people, not by us. Someone says they're getting an advertisement by Mokuhankan for woodblock prints. We don't do any advertising. What are you seeing there, Karen? Hmm? Someone's saying the ad links to woodblock.com. We don't advertise. We don't advertise anything. The ad goes to woodblock.com. What are we talking about? We don't have any advertising. Where's the page that we're talking about here? Asia Policy Point. Find quality woodblock prints, Mokuhankan. Oh my God, look at that. I remember this. Look at that. Who? Okay, I remember this. This is a thing. Look at that. No, I get you. Okay. No, I do remember this. How far back are we going here? Oh my God, 1996, 1997, 1998? No, it can't be. Let me think about this. No, it's got to be 2000 because I didn't start using the word Mokuhankan until 2005 or so. I had a thing where what was the input? Let me think about this before I try to tell a story. I got to think about it. It's so long ago, 20 plus years ago. I prepared code, and people who were interested in our prints, what did I do? I said, if you put this code on your website, this is before Google. if you put this code on your website that links to our gift page, what was I going to do? I was going to give them, it was like a, what do you call it? I don't know, when someone's got a blog and they put advertising for something, and when the person clicks and goes through to buy at the other end, you get a percent of it. What's it called? Affiliate. Yes, yes, yes. I created my own little affiliate program. It ran for a year or 2 years or so, and then it wasn't going anywhere, so I just closed it all up and canceled it. The landing page was gone. Oh, you're right, Corin's right. It is advertising. I did an affiliate program. Me and Matt Brown were doing it. And look at that. That website still has one there. They must have not got the message that we weren't doing that anymore. I will look it up after the stream and send them a little email. When would that be? What a ghost from the past that is. Wow. Wow. No, I stand corrected. I said I don't do advertising. I have no Google AdSense account. We don't buy advertising, whatever. But yes, I tried developing an affiliate campaign. Wow, but I wonder who that is. Actually, that's funny too, because when we did that, I had a landing page, which of course knew which link had been clicked. So if on any gift season at the end of the year, if 3 people had bought gift prints from that link, I would then talk to the person, I would make payment to them. But if that person is somewhere has had this on their website for 20, 25 years or something, I haven't been tracking incomings. So I may owe them a fortune. I don't know. Look at this. I wonder if there's more of them out there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not applying pigment on the block itself. The line work is too delicate, and if I did take this thing and swipe it here, the pigment would pool between the lines. What I'm doing, I'm sorry, it's not really visible off the pigment here is going onto a tile. I'm tapping on the tile, smoothing it out here, so now the pigment is already smoothed out in the brush, and then it comes back onto the block. So with fine line work like this, we never, ever, ever, ever put the pigment directly onto the wood. It just clogs up the lines. Then you spend a half an hour brushing it out. So the brushing is done on the tile first to get the pigment smooth among the block. I'm going to brush. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Did you see Ayano-san walking down the street towards the shop? She must be here by now. It was your big chance. Here, I'll turn it so you can see what's going on. Here, sorry, here you go. Okay, the pigment, not every single time, but every now and then, there's a swipe of pigment on there. So here's this piece of pigment. I'm tapping just there. Chup, chup, chup. I've also got some water down at this end. Bit of pigment, bit of water. Mix, 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 mix. And here we go. Back over onto the wood. And it's now mixed into the brush. And there's still enough paste. I don't need to put paste every time. And then lightly. Oops, 2 sheets. That was the Yoshibori truck, yes. He's out of view now. That was him backing up. Someone's saying, what do the letters on the block represent? I'm not sure what you're referring to. What do the letters... Oh, you mean down here? Yes. These are the codes for when we made the piece of wood, when we made the block. This will be 2014 July, and IS, this is the source. Aoyama-san was doing this. He's got lot numbers for all the different cherry wood things we bought. So this tells us what lot the cherry was and when it was laminated up. The brush is horsehair, yes. This brush is horsehair. The water brush we use is goat. It's much finer and softer. It bends, it flops too much. We couldn't use this for pigment. That's right, for the sizing, that's the rest of the horse. So 10 minutes to show and tell. My God, I'm not even halfway through the printing yet. Height. Someone says cancel show and tell. No need to do that. No problem. The paper here can just quietly wait, you know. We'll do show and tell. I'll close the stream. After that, I'll have to come back and get the block ready again. No reason to cancel today. It sounds busy out there today. I don't know what's going on. Got a defect in the paper here. Look at that clump of fiber. Ishikawa-san, Mitamura-san のインスタグラムの名前覚えてますか？
知らない、見たことない。
そっかそっか。There is a bit of news from yesterday. One of the printers in the Kumiai, the Tokyo Printers Group, Mitamura-san, he's been working off and on for us for a while now. We use him as an outside printer. He's been doing a number of prints for us for a couple of years. He called me a while ago. His daughter is interested in getting started in the business. I guess she's watched her dad work. She hasn't got another career set up or anything yet, and she's interested in getting into woodblock printmaking as a printer. So he asked us, would there be work for her, stuff like that. So she came over. We had a couple of discussions. She came over again yesterday, and we're going to set up. He set up a workbench for her in their home next to his own workbench, and she's actually going to tie on hachimaki, and she's going to become a deshi, an apprentice in his workshop. There's plus minus to this. Of course, maybe there's a chance she might become a good printer and work and eventually end up working for us. This is fine. So we're going to support this. We're going to produce, we're going to send them, simpler blocks to get started. And I've told him that what to do is this. Calling Yamada-san, our accountant, we're going to prepare a timesheet here for her. And we've asked him to write down the time that she spends working in her own home with her dad practicing woodblock prints. And we will pay her for this as though she was working here. Mokuhankan is going to put her on the quasi-payroll for her training time. We've got this Patreon money pouring in. That's what I'm printing this for. People keep paying us on Patreon. And I'm not using anywhere near enough that money in the way it should be using. So we're going to use Patreon revenue to pay the time for this young girl who is training over there in Mitamura-san's house. And of course, we're going to keep in touch with this. What we're going to do is after the first couple of months have gone by and she can be a little bit more independent, she's going to come here once a week or once every 2 weeks or twice a week or whatever, schedule still to be decided. And she will sit in the very place I'm sitting right now and she will do practice printing here. Practice meaning some simple blocks, and maybe it might be stuff you can actually sell in the shop. So that's the news. There's a little bit of a downside to this in that she is, of course, shy. And I've told her if we want to do this properly, if we want people to help support us, if I want to support you, if you want to move this forward, you can't do this by hiding in the closet. And she's not quite ready to come out of the closet. It's a different meaning. You see what I mean? She's not quite ready to step forward and be public with what she's trying to do. She's going to be embarrassed because the work might not be all that good at the beginning and stuff like this. So we're going to wrestle with her about this. But we have started. I can announce that, and we are. And we've told him, set up a timesheet, and we will be paying. I don't know her actual age. She's, I don't know, 30s maybe, something in the mid-30s. I don't know, young 30s. I don't know. Mitamura-san is the same year cycle as me. He's a rabbit. I'm 72, so Mitamura-san must be 60, so his daughter must be something, a generation below that. So this is actually good news. It could be potentially very, 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 very good news. There's a downside to you really don't want a young printer to be training in their home with their father. I've heard this any number of times from people in any craft. When a youngster wants to follow in his father's footsteps in the old days, first thing they do is the father kicks him out or makes an arrangement with another workshop. You're not going to train here. I'm going to be too soft on you. You go train down there. And the idea is they're going to be brutal. And the father can't be brutal enough with his own kid. That's in the old days when apprentices were treated brutally. You want to weed out the weak ones as fast as you can. You want to build strong craftsmen. That's not the way it works these days. And that's why we're going to do it switch and switch. She's going to work there to get some basic fundamentals ready. And then once she's a little bit ready to come, she'll come here and sit here. So good news. Maybe X years from now, when she is a powerhouse printer, you can say, you heard it here first today.聞きました石川さん、三田村さんの娘さんがもう今日から金曜日からすりの練習が始まります。
お父さん？
初めはお父さんのところで、その後ここで。そう。Oh, look at the time. Okay. I got you. I'm sorry. We're too busy talking about the other news. I'm sorry. Okay, say goodbye to this guy for a while. Can't reach it. Gotta go and get it. Excuse me. Right here. It's not print today. Don't panic. So, kawaremono, it's not kawaremono. It says fragile, breakable goods. It's not breakable goods. I can throw this off the rooftop. How do I get in? I don't have a knife up here. My kingdom for a knife. Oh, we may have a problem here. We may have a problem. Let me go and grab a knife in the other room. Sorry. Do you have a knife, Ishikawa-san? Kata knife ありますか? In your box?
ナイフない。
ないですか? Okay.
あれはどうですか?
いや、だからこの箱。It's okay. いえ、持ってきますよ。大丈夫です。Here's a knife. はいはいはい。In the kitchen. Oh, right there. We got in. That easy. Oops, that's right. Knock over the pigment bowl, yeah. It's not prints. It's something relevant to a topic that is recently near and dear to Mokuhankan. Hello Fresh. John Becker says paper with a question mark. Flyfish for Fun says paper. Yes and no. Who can read this? Who can read it? Here's the publisher. Mainichi, every day. Newspaper. Shahan. The Mainichi newspaper, a publishing edition. Hand. Tesuki washi. It's a research book. It's a book about Japanese handmade paper. The Mainichi newspaper used to be crazy. They're no longer crazy. They're now a normal business, I guess, trying to stay alive. They used to be flush and crazy. They published reproductions of sets of woodblock prints. They published actual collections of woodblock prints. They published volumes about Japanese paper. There must have been somebody up in their top ownership who was nuts about the business of prints and washi. And they published all kinds of books and research materials and collections of this and that. And we have here, I don't know the year, it'll be in here somewhere. We have here a book. Collection of books. Here's a date and time. Oh, it says it's a limited edition. This is number 1070. Not much of a limited edition. Published in 1975. And it's a book. And this paper was at the top of the auction list. And what it is there's material in here focusing on a number of Japanese types of paper. And we have the top 4 here that are mentioned here. What can I do to point here? We have the top 4. This is Hon Mino Shi, Mino paper. We have Sekishu Banshi, another famous type of paper. We have Gampi Shi, and then we have Echizen Hosho, which is our paper. And the examples and discussion of the Echizen Hosho that we're about to find out in here are done by Iwano Ichibe, and he gives his address. And this is Showa 43. So we have apparently here a collection of research information about 4 famous types of Japanese paper, one of which is the type of paper we are going to be trying to make over the next couple of years. So Dave here has set a bunch of new auction alerts, and anything related to Japanese washi, Japanese papermaking, research material, I am trying to collect as much as I can of it. Now what we have here, I really don't know in detail. What do we have? We are obviously going to have samples. Look at this. Samples of many different kinds of paper. There's our Mino. So is it mostly samples, or are we going to have hardcore information on how this stuff is made? I don't know. Yeah, look at this. Paper from all over the country. Look at this. Samples of paper from workshops all over the country. Actual paper glued into the volume. There's a discussion about each one. What I would want to have more information is how about, well, the recipes, of course. You know. Look at this, 1 billion types of paper. These are now the more decorative papers. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Incredible, 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 incredible. Decorative papers, Chiogami. Then what's the 3rd volume? Oh, the explanation and information about each one. Oh, the paper making process. Yes, this is the part that's going to be the most useful for us. Talking about the kozo, the different ways of cultivating kozo. Yes, this is the part that's going to be the hardcore information for us. A survey of the manufacture of paper, different types. Yes, look at this. In fact, right there is the information I've been trying to get from Iwano-san, and he says, I don't know. We've got the actual weight of the kozo as it's cut in the farm. Then, after it's steamed, then you have the black part, then the white part, and then the weight of the paper. So out of every 1,000, you end up with 54. Out of every 1,000 grams, you end up with 54 grams in your paper. This is the kind of information. It's got kozo, gampi, and mitsumata. Okay, can I sit here and read all this clearly, blah, 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 and explain it all to you? No. Are we going to be able to glean a ton of information from here? Yes. There will, of course, be a huge amount of chaff, information that's not relevant to us, but there will be any number. Hey. Historical timelines. Cool. It's not much of an actual show and tell, I'm sorry, but for us this is a ton of interesting information. Okay, now because that one actually for you guys is not specifically interesting, it is going to be something super useful for us as a source of information. But for you as a show and tell, it's not all that interesting. So let's put this aside for a minute I have also prepared something else to show you today. Oh. This is more fun for you. Yeah, it is interesting, but it's not visually, wow, look at the interesting prints and stuff. Just Dave bumbling that I will be able to glean information. That's not specifically. Someone's asking, is there Mitsumata in there? It seems that it's everything. It covers the main three. It said Kozo, Mitsumata, and Gampi. So I believe there's information on all three. Yes, I'm sorry, the monitor may be trying to explain some of this, the background information here. We are going to have to be making paper soon. So at the moment we are in strong research mode, trying to learn as much as we can about Japanese traditional papermaking. It's one of Japan's most heavily researched topics. It's not like there isn't any data out there. Now, we don't see this very often on this stream. Obviously, we have a scroll. This is a Polonia box with a scroll inside. And what do we have? Some of this I can read, some I can't. This is, I believe, taka, a bird, no zu, an illustration of a taka. Hawk maybe, or eagle, I'm not quite sure. And this now is so stylized I cannot read this. It's the designer's name. I should know what it is. It's so stylized. Is it Hokusai? No. Ishikawa-san, at risk of embarrassing you, who's the designer? Takanozu. わからない。
馬鳥のあとガン違う腹
これ質でしょ、AC の名前でしょ、
そうだね器用I
don't know, no, sorry. But not to embarrass you, it's really strongly stylized. The only reason I could read that part is because I know what it says already. We have a scroll, but it's a woodblock print that has been mounted as a scroll. It is Takanozu. Okay, here we have Tori Kyo. There's our reading. It's Tori Kyo Tada Kyo. Here, you can read this version. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's one of the artists from the Tori school. They were famous for doing kabuki, but here one of them has done an illustration of a bird. And it's made by the Takamizawa company, and they mounted it as a scroll. I'm going to have to zoom out here because this thing is big. Interesting so far. Interesting so far. This is a woodblock print mounted as a scroll. Look at this. Ishikawa-san, so nice. Look at this. It's the print, the original is from an era before color printing was invented. So what they've done here, they've made a woodblock print. The black lines are carved and printed, and the colors on this bird are colored by hand. And then once it was finished, they mounted it in scroll format. It's beautifully done. You see, Ishikawa-san? そう、綺麗。
デザインがすごく
そう。
今だね。
浮世絵初期時代でしょ。まだ多色刷り考えてない時代です。だから今、色は手で塗ったんですよ。
そうなんだ。
そう。
色はね。
色。黒の方がもちろんMokuhankanです。
でも飾っていい感じだよね。今。
そう、すごい綺麗でしょ。そう。これさっきこれ説明書ありますけど、高見沢かな？でしょ？いつ作ってあると書いてありますけど。It's Showa 53. So the reproduction is Showa 53. How can we show how big this thing is? My God, let me try and. よいしょ。 I mean, this is wonderful. This is. I don't know that this kind of bird is the thing you're going to want in your tea ceremony. I got nowhere to hang it. Where can I put it? Well, there's no nails in our room here. But there you have it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Very nicely made. This came up on Yahoo Auction just last week. Didn't get much interest. I think 1 or 2 people bid on it. So, like I said, for your tea ceremony room, I don't think you'd really be looking at this, but maybe for your, if like somebody says, if it's your judo or aikido dojo or something, to try and show an impression of strength, that might make more sense, I guess. We'll get it. We'll tell you what. I'll get Aina-san to do an Instagram post about it. So we'll hang it up somewhere where we can see it. What did I pay for it? Hang on one sec. Let me get the link here. Blah, 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 blah. Where am I? I can't find the link. One sec. Just a moment. Auctions, height, finished auctions. What did we pay for it? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. 3,000 yen. Nobody bid. Look at that. Crazy. Nobody wanted it. There's the auction listing. There you are. I'm very, 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 very happy with it. Cool item. Not all that old. It's not an antique, but it's old enough for us. Very nice. Okay, I have got to now get downstairs first to talk to the girls, get the shop set up, and then I will continue printing with this. It's Thursday now. I'll be back here Saturday morning. I won't be up here. I'll be downstairs, and I will be continuing the carving on the Patreon chibis. Thanks very much for coming in today. Let's put up the outside. Oh, the Korean restaurant has put their sign out. So, Ninja Boy is here. He's got his bicycle there. That's the Ninja motorcycle. And I think that's it. Time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Saturday morning. 3, 2, 1. Thank you again.